I want to read something from the book of Mark, chapter 8, when Jesus restores sight to a blind man. Verse 22. They came to Bethsaida, and some people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. He took the blind man by the hand and led him outside the village. When he had spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked, "Do you see anything?" He looked up and said, "I see people. They look like trees walking around." Once more, Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were open, his sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. Some of you with your spouses, they are spiritually blind at the moment. They're in darkness. They cannot see clearly. Notice how it said the people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. You brought your spouse to the Lord. Lord, I need you to touch my husband. Lord, I need you to touch my wife. I need you to help her see what you have shown me. Notice it says he took the blind man by the hand and led him outside the village. Jesus took your spouse away from you. Jesus took your spouse away from the home, in divine separation, away from the marriage. He led him outside the village. And he took him away from where he was familiar, where he took him, thank you, Holy Spirit, when he took them away from the place where they got sick, from the place where they became spiritually blind. Some healing takes more than one time, takes more than one touch, takes more than one encounter. Many of your spouses just received their first touch. Right now, they see, it's like their eyes are partially open, but there's still a haze over their eyes, because he went from not being able to see anything to, I see people, they look like trees walking around. This miracle was not too difficult for Jesus. Let's pause right there for a moment, because so many of you think that your spouses are too far gone, or their hearts are too hard, or their situations, they are too stubborn for the Lord's touch. And that is so far from the truth. Y'all got to think nothing is impossible for the Lord. I talk about this all the time. Luke 1:37, nothing is too hard for him. Jesus can do anything and do it miraculously, suddenly, instantly, without delay, or he will do it in stages. He chose to do it in stages, possibly to show the disciples that some healing would be gradual rather than instantaneous, or to demonstrate that spiritual truth is not always perceived clearly at first. Maybe they don't understand all the aspects of it at first. They don't understand that it is the Lord who says you are their wife or you are their husband. This is why I said this is the Lord's doing. Some of your spouses received that first touch, and some of them have been in that first touch for a moment. They still don't see completely clear yet. They still haven't perceived things yet. They still don't have full understanding yet. They still have not come back home yet. They still have not been reconciled to you yet. That doesn't mean the Lord couldn't do it. That doesn't mean your spouse isn't making some progress, because sometimes I could have gave that man sight right away. But I want it to be in stages, because during this wait, thank you, Holy Spirit, I'm teaching you how to wait. I'm teaching you how to be patient. I'm teaching you how to remain faithful. I'm teaching you to trust me with the situation. I'm teaching you how to take your hands out of the situation. I'm teaching you how to believe what it is that I told you, and that it is going to come to pass, that I'm the only one who can change them. He's sovereign, and he's always simultaneously working. So you're looking at it like, well, my spouse making some progress. They did reach out. They did say, they miss me, or they've been thinking about me. But many of you, let's be honest, you're despising those small beginnings. You want it more. You want it bigger. God is going to do the more, and he's going to give you bigger. But remember, I said he's testing your heart posture. Are you all in your feelings like, why this man ain't got it together yet? And you're thinking like that. You have a hardened heart. You're choosing to do it in stages, because it's going to be beneficial for you as well in this wait. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you wiser. Or there are still some things I need to cleanse from you. There are still some things I need to heal with you. But in the wait, thank you, Holy Spirit, even while you're waiting, even when it looks like God isn't moving, something is happening. Something is always happening. And he performed many miracles where they had sight like that. This particular one, he chose to do it in stages. He chose to do it gradually. Stay out of it. Keep your hands out of it. Pray according to how the Holy Spirit is leading you to pray. But if you keep needing to check up, let me check their Facebook. Let me check their Instagram. Let me check to see what they're doing. Remember, we talked about this. Your need to know The Lord will rebuke you for that. If Holy Spirit needs to tell you something about this man or about this woman, he will tell you. But if he hasn't said anything, get out of, I need to know this. I need to know. I can't feel them. I don't know what they're thinking. The Lord hasn't revealed what's on their mind. That's because now you've fallen into idolatry. You're so caught up in, I need to know what my spouse is thinking. I need to know what they're going through. I need to know what they're enduring. I need to know how the Lord is moving. Get out of that because you're delaying it. Now you're the children of Israel. You're circling that same mountain over and over and over again. That's because of you and your need to know. You haven't fully trusted the Lord with it because you keep coming in the kitchen to see what he's cooking. When I released it, I didn't go pick it back up. And some of you keep picking it back up. And that's why your days are just all over the place and you can't think clearly and you're stressed about this and you're worried about that. And your spouse will get their sight back. They will be healed. They will be cleansed. They will be delivered. They will be restored. But it's in God's timing and God's ways. Get out of the kitchen. Take your hands out of it. Get out of the driver's seat and let God do what God does best.